Hi everyone, welcome to the another session on finite element analysis of shaft. So in this session we are going to solve the problem on a stepped shaft with one end fixed. So the learning outcome for this session is to solve the given problem. Now this is the statement of the problem. A steel shaft of solid circular section carries a torsional load as shown in the figure. Determine the angle of twist, shear stress and reaction at the fixed end. So for that he has given the modulus of rigidity, that is G value 80 gigapascal. Now once again now everything is in terms of meter, length is in terms of meter, then applied torque is in terms of kilonewton meter, then the value of modulus of rigidity is in terms of newton per meter square, that is gigapascal, and only in this problem the diameter for the shaft what I have given, it is in terms of mm. Therefore I need to convert that in terms of meters. So gigapascal, that is into 10 to the power of 9, so 80 gigapascal, therefore it is 80 into 10 to the power of 9 newton per meter square. Therefore diameter for the first portion d1 I am going to consider, it is 100 mm, so convert that in terms of meter, it is 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Similarly second portion, it is 50 mm diameter, therefore it is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Now begin with the FA procedure. So first I need to do the FA model. So when I do the FA model, I am going to consider the two elements here because both the steps are of different diameter. I'm going to consider two elements. Then at node number 1 I have the angle of twist, that is angular displacement, that is theta 1, and applied torque is T1. Similarly at node number 2 I have angular displacement theta 2 and applied torque is T2. Similarly at node number 3 I have theta 3 and T3. So that is what my FEA model. Now once the FEA model is done, now I need to do the calculation of element stiffness matrix. So for first element I know the element stiffness matrix for the shaft element, that is given by Jg divided by Le. 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 is the matrix. Therefore substituting the values of polar moment of inertia, that is J value, that is associated with the diameter, therefore it is pi by 32 into d1 raised to 4. Then the modulus of rigidity, then the length of the element 1. So that is what I am substituted all the values here. Then I have made the unit uniformity, therefore the first portion is having a length of 5 meters, so that I have substituted, and after simplifying this I am going to get that value as 157.08 into 10 to the power of 3, and this matrix as it is. Therefore by taking 10 to the power of 3 outside, then sending this 157.08 inside the matrix, so I am going to get 157.08 here, minus 157.08 here, it is minus 157.08, and this is plus 157.08. Then this is the first stiffness matrix for the first element. Then the first element is associated with the two displacement 1 and 2, therefore I'll write horizontally 1 and 2 and vertically 1 and 2. So this is the first stiffness matrix. Similarly I need to calculate the stiffness matrix for the second element. So when I come to the second element, the same stiffness matrix, but here I need to substitute all the values which are related to the second element, where diameter changes in the second portion, which is 50 mm, but I have converted that in terms of meter. Then G value is once again same value, 80 into 10 to the power of 9. Now the length of the second element is 3 meter, that is what I have substituted. After simplifying this I am going to get 16.36 into 10 to the power of 3, and that 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 matrix as it is. Now once again in the first element I have taken 10 to the power of 3 outside. Here also I'll take 10 to the power of 3, so that the same common can be taken outside when I am doing the global stiffness matrix. So here also I'll take it 10 to the power of 3, then 16.36 I'll send it inside the matrix. So this is the final matrix I am going to get, K2, that is 10 to the power of 3 outside, 16.36 minus 16.36 and minus 16.36 and plus 16.36. Once again if you see the FA model, now the second element is associated with the two displacement, that is theta 2 and theta 3, therefore I'll write horizontally and vertically, that is 2 3 2 3. So therefore this is what my the K2 matrix. Now I'll go to the third step where I need to do the global stiffness matrix. So in the global stiffness matrix, I need to do the addition of K1 plus K2. Then as I have the 3 displacement, therefore my global stiffness matrix is having an order 3 cross 3. Therefore I'll write 1 2 3 horizontally, 1 2 3 vertically. Therefore I'll put the values of 1 of 1, which is 157.08, 2 of 1, once again it is minus 157.08, then 3 of 1, I don't have any value of 3 of 1, therefore it will become 0. Similarly I'll go with 1 of 2, I'll put the value, but when I come to the 2 of 2, I'll be having two values, one from first matrix, that is K1 matrix, and 2 of 2, the another value is from K2 matrix. Therefore adding those two, it is 173.44. Then 3 of 2 is minus 16.36, then 1 of 3 I don't have any value, 0, then 2 of 3 it is minus 16.36, and 3 of 3 it is plus 16.36. Therefore this is what my global stiffness matrix. Now once I get the global stiffness matrix, then I need to put that in equilibrium condition. So we know the equilibrium condition, that is K into U is equal to F, but here instead of U, we know that has to be replaced with theta, therefore it is K into theta is equal to F. So but F here now it is in the form of applied torque, therefore now F will replace us with T. Therefore my equilibrium equation will become K into theta is equal to T. So that is what my equilibrium condition, that is what I have written here, K into theta is equal to T. So where K is my global stiffness matrix, where I have 10 to the power of 3 outside by taking common from K1 and K2. Then my theta is the displacement matrix. Here it is an angular displacement matrix, which is T1, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. That will be equal to, that is a torque matrix, nothing but it's a force matrix, that is T1, T2, T3. Now here I need to apply the elimination method of boundary condition, and I'll put the values of T1, T2, T3. Therefore T1 there is no torque at node number 1 because it is a completely constrained. T2 I have a torque of 10 kilonewton meter, therefore it is in the clockwise direction, therefore it is plus 10 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter. Then T3 it is acting in an anti-clockwise direction, that means counterclockwise direction, therefore it is minus 1 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter. So these are the two torques applied at node number 2 and 3, that is what the values I have put. Now I need to apply the boundary condition elimination. So first node number 1 is constrained, therefore I need to eliminate the first row and first column. So by eliminating the first row and first column, I left out with these 4 values and the 2 values of theta 2 and theta 3. Then these are the 2 applied torques I have left out. Then this is what the reduced matrix. Now once I get the reduced matrix, I need to open this matrix, or I need to do the matrix multiplication here to get the 2 equations, because I have 2 equations, that is theta 2 and theta 3. When I solve those 2 equations, I am going to get the 2 unknowns, that is theta 2 and theta 3. So that is what I am getting 2 equations here. One first equation I'll tell you how I am going to get. So it is 173.44 into 10 to the power of 3 into theta 2 plus minus 16.36 into 10 to the power of 3 into theta 3 is equal to 10 into 10 to the power of 3. So that is what my first equation. Similarly, when I go with the second row values, I am going to get the second equation. So when I use the calculator and when I solve these two, I'll get the 2 unknowns, that is theta 2 and theta 3. So my theta 2 is 0.0573 radians and theta 3 is minus 3.829 into 10 to the power of minus 3 radians. So these are the 2 values of theta 2 and theta 3, that is the displacement, that is angular displacement, which are there at node number 2 and 3. Now this is what the first solution for the question what he has asked, that is angle of twist. Then the second one is I need to find out the shear stress in the element. So when I come to the shear stress, so this is a shear stress matrix for the first element, that is G into R divided by length of the element for the first portion minus 1 1 and theta 1 and theta 2, because the 2 displacement associated with the first element is theta 1 and theta 2. That is what I need to consider. Now I'll put all the values here. So we know G is 80 into 10 to the power of 9, R is nothing but the radius. For the first portion, the diameter I given it as 100 mm, therefore radius will become 50 mm, but I need to convert that in terms of meter. Therefore, it is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Then length of the element 1 is 5 meter. That is what I taken. There's this 1 minus 1 matrix as it is. Then I need to put the values of theta 1 and theta 2. My theta 1 is 0 because it is completely constrained. Therefore, the displacement or angular displacement at that point it is 0. Then theta 2 I have calculated here, which is 0.0573. That is what I have substituted. Then after simplifying this, so I am going to get the simplification of this value is 800 into 10 to the power of 6. Then minus 1 into 0, it is 0, plus 1 into this value. I left out with this value. Then after solving this, I'll get the shear stress in the first portion, which is 45.84 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton per meter square, because I have substituted all the values in terms of meter. Therefore, I am get the value in Newton per meter square. So 10 to the power of 6 is nothing but mega. Therefore, it is 45.84 megapascal. So this is the stress which is there in the first portion. Now similarly, I need to calculate the shear stress in the second portion. Now please remember, while calculating the shear stress in the second portion, I need to put the values for the second portion, where actually this becomes R2, that is radius for the second portion, and this will become my length of the element 2. That is what I have substituted. Length of the element 2 is 3 meter. Then G value is same because this is made up of same material. The value is same, but radius changes here because diameter I given 50 mm. Therefore radius is 25 mm. But once again I converted that in terms of meter. That minus 1 as it is. Now I need to substitute the values of theta 2 and theta 3 because these are the two displacement which are associated with the element 2. So my theta 2 is 0.0573 and my theta 3 is minus 3.829 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Then once again solving this, I am going to get the value of 666.67 into 10 to the power of minus 6. This matrix as it is. Then this displacement matrix as it is. Then after simplification, I have minus 1 into this term, plus 1 into this term, and outside I have 667.67 into 10 to the power of 6. Now when I solve this, I am going to get the shear stress which is there in the second portion of the shaft, which is minus 40.75 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton per meter square. Nothing but it is minus 40.75 megapascal. So these are the stresses which are there in the first and the second portion. Then finally we need to calculate the reaction. So to calculate the reaction, I need to consider the first eliminated row. So when I consider the first eliminated row, so these are the values of first eliminated row. Then I have displacement theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, that will be equal to T1. So that I am going to consider. When I take the T1 onto the left hand side, therefore I'll get minus value. So that is minus T1. So that is what I mentioned. Actually this will be equal to T1, but when I have taken the T1 to the left hand side, therefore it is minus T1. Now once again I'll substitute all the values, this eliminated row as it is. Now I'll put the values of theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. So these are the values I have substituted. Minus T1 is 0. There is no torque at node number 1. That is what I substituted at 0. Then this matrix I need to open it by multiplying 157.08 into 0, it is 0. So this term into this, that is what I have written here. Then 0 into this term, that is eliminated. So that is I have not shown here. Therefore when I do this calculation, I am going to get the reaction, that is the TR is the notation I have considered for the reaction. So that is torque reaction, which is minus 9000.68 Newton meter. Nothing but it is minus 9 kilo Newton meter. So that is what my reaction which is there at the fixed end. So this is how we can solve the problem when a stepped shaft is fixed at one end. So thank you for watching